Hello, I'm Mark,
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to talk about tariffs and how a 25% tariff on automotive could affect Tesla. But first, let's roll that title.
You're watching the TTL Life Express.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us. And today we're going to talk about a timely topic. We're going to talk about tariffs in the automotive sector. As of Wednesday, the world has gotten hit with some different tariffs, but the Trump administration has been looking at applying a 25% tariff to the automotive industry. And that would, in its different forms, it would certainly add to the cost of vehicles being purchased in the US, because, of course, tariffs are charged to the person that's bringing it across the border into the country, and they're the ones that pay that particular tariff. So we as the end consumers are the ones that will pay these tariffs is what it boils down to.
You got customs sitting there holding your stuff, and to get it out of customs, you got to give them the VIG.
Yeah.
And it's the person picking it up that pays it.
And as we know, in the past many decades here in North America, we've had a free trade agreement where parts are flowing back and forth from factories across the border multiple times in order to build a car. So raw minerals may come into a country to be processed. They may be shipped across a border somewhere else to be either refined or placed in a vehicle. And then they're shipped again, maybe for possible sale. So they could cross the border multiple times, depending on supply chain and the companies that are involved in the three countries that are part of the free trade deal. The administration that's now in place in the U.S. is looking to bring jobs back to America, and they feel that the best way to do this is to apply a tariff to parts of the car or the whole car. Again, it's in flux, it changes. We really don't know what the final outcome will be, but there will be some sort of fee charged with a tariff, either on parts or the whole car itself, in order to push manufacturers to set up shop in the US specifically. So, and as we and again, the issue is that over the past number of decades, all these plants have been placed where the manufacturer believes the best bang for their buck has been. So some have been placed here in Canada, a number of them are in the United States, and some are placed in Mexico. But with this change, it's going to force manufacturers to really look at their assets, where they are, how much it's costing them, and to make a change possibly to its location, hoping that the administration that's in charge or the current administration doesn't change their minds or believe that they should make a change because it's not going in their favor. I would hate to be a car company that has now a stranded asset that they're partially building, just to find out that the rules have changed once again after 2 years, and the plant never even opened. There certainly could be a lot of issues when it comes to somebody spending $1 to $4 billion to build a plant, and then finding 2 years in that the winds of change have affected the administration, and now the rules are different.
I don't alter them further.
Yeah, so you're right.
Thank you, Lord Vader.
Yes, businesses need stability. They need to know what the plan is so they can make long-term plans and make investments according to those plans. And the system that we have in place now, when you see the most American-made vehicles ratings, they're looking at North America as one unit, and they don't even track if it was from Canada, US, or Mexico. And so Tesla is high on that list for most American-made vehicles. And in fact, I think the when you buy the version that where the battery pack is made at Gig in Nevada, then it's the most American-made vehicle there is. So, but again, they're not looking at what was from Canada and what was from Mexico and what was from the U.S. It's just North America.
Yeah.
Because that's the system that we've had in place with free trade agreements between these three countries
for a long time.
Yes.
I'm impressed that they
Since
are
the
able
Clinton
to look
era.
so far back to pick up these old plans, but somehow also overlook all the people saying don't do this. It failed us. And so it's like they look over, hey, these guys did it, and then same guy saying don't do it, and it's even the proto current regime with Mr. Reagan said don't do it, and here we are.
Part of the reason that you may want not do something like this is the rising cost of the vehicle. Eventually, that will be passed along to the consumer. In fact, Goldman Sachs did a study on what this was going to cost the consumer, and again, depending on the different things that are being tariffed, whether it's all just parts or it's the whole car at the end of the line that's being sold to the consumer. If that's the only thing, we've got a varying price of $5,000 to $15,000 extra on the cost of the vehicle. So you can imagine if you're car shopping or have been thinking about car shopping, and you get an inflated bill of 15 or 10 or $5,000, that's going to make a lot of people sit back and maybe wait, maybe decide that this is not the time to buy a car. I'll have to do with what I've got. And of course, that can push any nation into where people are holding back instead of purchasing. You can now get yourself into a recession type scenario because everyone is really unsure. As Patrick mentioned, businesses like to be sure about what's going on, but people with their personal finances need to be assured that they're doing the right thing to weather a storm that they anticipate is either here or is coming.
Yep.
Absolutely true.
If any of the manufacturers will pull this trick where you've got the mandated delivery fees. They don't have to have a delivery fee, but if they do, it has to be the same across the country. So they put it on the Monroney label, $1,000, $5,000, whatever it is. You can live across the street from the factory, and you'll pay. You can pick it up at the factory, and you'll have to pay that fee. I'm curious if they'll write tariff above the delivery fee. That's how much it is.
That would be interesting. So then when you're car shopping, you see exactly how much of this tax you're paying. And the sad part is if you're paying $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 more, you're not getting $5,000, $10,000 or $15,000 more car for it. You're getting the same car you would have. You're just now paying this tax on it. And yes, and I do want to that's money that's going to the government.
Yeah. And then if you're in a state that charges a percentage-based tax rather than a flat tax or a capped tax, you get to pay on the final amount. So you get to pay a tax percentage on that tariff tax plus the delivery fee.
I'm so happy I'm in Oregon. No sales tax here. There is a small tax on cars. It's like 0.5% or something. That's one of the few items that has a sales tax.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. Again, we get to live it firsthand. It's not fun if you're in a position where you're about to purchase a vehicle. I wonder, was there a spike in car sales before April the 2nd because people knew that this date was coming? It would be interesting to know if there were a bunch of people that had pulled the trigger because of the uncertainty that they saw coming as of today. And again, what was released just a few hours ago, as we're doing this recording, was that there was going to be a baseline tariff to all countries across the world of 10%, and it could be up to 50% depending on the country. So here again, the uncertainty is huge because they're not telling us which countries are going to be at the higher tariff rate. They're just telling us that everyone's getting hit with a 10%. And then at the 11th hour when it's being announced, then they turn around and say, but it's not applying to Canada this time. And it's like, what is going on? Like, is someone got a dartboard and they're just throwing a dart and saying that's what it is today, that's what it is this hour, that's what it is this minute? It really seems that the administration is trying to mix in uncertainty into all the markets on purpose, because the entire production of these tariffs has been really the only thing that's consistent is its unpredictability, and its ability to go back on itself in the next hour after it's been announced. I really don't understand, unless they're trying to sow the market with confusion, and I don't see how that helps the stock market or anybody when it comes to, we don't know what's going to happen, everything's uncertain, and you're really sowing panic into an economy, which it just bewilders me as to how that makes any sense, that any government would want their citizens to live in that state.
Especially when the folks on the receiving end stop making moves in response. They're like, oh, it's more of the bluster. Oh, why should we do anything? And if we don't do anything, what's going to happen? It's going to change again anyway. So why react? So then, what happens then? Because
so then you've got apathy in the market, and you're wondering, what. It doesn't make any sense for me to do anything because it changes, or it gets canceled, or it's completely changed. So yeah, let's not react. Let's not do anything.
One of the lists that I saw, they had by country, like you said, Mark, this could change on an hourly basis. But one of the worst hit countries was Vietnam. 90% tariff on automobiles coming from Vietnam. And I was thinking, wow, that's really going to hit VinFast hard.
Right.
Because I don't think they have production in the U.S. So all the cars that they sell here in North America would be imported. And if they get hit with a 90% tariff, that's huge. That would
that just prices them out of the market, doesn't it? Immediately.
Yep. You'd have to really want one to pay almost double for it.
Yeah. It's
the reviews aren't making me want to even look at them, especially at double the price.
Yeah. So one of the things that, even though we've mentioned Tesla a little bit, that they are a very American-made vehicle, they're still going to get hit by this. And the cars that use LFP batteries, I think those come from China, and so they're going to be, those batteries will be tariffed on as they come into the country. We saw articles last year that Tesla had bought the equipment to make LFP batteries in the U.S., but I haven't heard anything about that equipment coming online.
They're certainly not publicizing that at this point. So I know that Tesla had, with the Biden administration, the previous administration, they were running with rules as they were trying to tighten the supply chain to be North American or part of the free trade countries. Yeah. And they were doing that over time. So they were giving manufacturers the ability to sell whatever battery they wanted today, but they had a date in the future saying, okay, in 12 months or in 16 months, you now have to be switched to having the battery source being North American or part of the free trade countries in order to qualify for the federal EV tax credit. And that was something that kind of made sense because at least the company could plan for it. But what's happening currently is that it's being announced and implemented within 30 days. And it's like, well, who can comply with that? Nobody can change their supply chain in 30 days. So that means that they automatically have to sit out and pay the tariffs immediately because no one can react that quickly. And that's, again,
the ground.
More uncertainty for these companies to worry about. And when it comes to this auto tariff, it has been delayed by 30 days. And as of today, it's not there again as it relates to Canada. So we're really wondering, what's the reality here? Where is this going? And again, I don't understand sowing this uncertainty into the economy. I really wonder what this is all about. And this is where we're going to turn it over to the audience do you have any idea? Do you understand what you think the end goal is? Yes, I understand that maybe they're looking to have more manufacturing happen in the US. I get that. I understand why they would want that. But why so quickly? Why make these changes? Is this a revenue stream that they believe with short notice they're going to get paid for regardless? Is this something that they've baked into their equation to collect money from the consumers? Isn't that just going to cause inflation? Aren't we going to have issues, as we mentioned at the top of the show, where people are just going to say, hey, the car went up by $8,000. I think I'm going to sit it out for another couple years because I'll make my old car work. Is that not going to cause some people to just get out of the market and stay out of the market? Which, if you get enough of those people involved, then you're talking recession. You're talking a reduction in what gets sold. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of people saying, I think we're slowing down. I think we need to keep our nest egg close. We're not going to spend on vacations. We're not going to spend on travel. We're not going to spend on restaurants. And then all of a sudden, everybody's spiraling in that direction. And all it takes is one recession being reported for a quarter, and all of a sudden you've got more people that are panicking about it. So
I mean, the belts all around.
Hold on while I go buy some Napa and AutoZone stock.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
there we go.
Exactly.
If you guys people keep your car working another couple years.
The parts are coming from Mexico and Canada as well, so they're going to get tariffs on the parts. So your
Yeah.
conclusion for when to buy a new car still is shifted. You don't even know when that is.
Yeah.
Right, but it's easier to pay an extra 25% on an air filter than it is a whole new car.
It is. But on an engine or a battery pack or transmission.
Right. Yeah. Those are spendy for sure.
Yeah.
They were, and now they're more.
So let us know in the comment what you think this tariff is going to cause. What do you think is the end reason for this? What do you think will happen in our reality as time goes along? Love to hear your comments and your ideas. Let us know in the comments. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video. Press that subscribe button. Helps us out immensely. And with that, let's go into some shout outs. Casey, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, not stock advice, but if I had the capability and the resources and I didn't have a day job, I would probably watch this administration and short sell everything against what they're doing. But like I said.
But again, this isn't stock advice.
Exactly.
Yeah, short selling is a dangerous game.
It totally is.
Yeah.
But what I can advise you to do is that on Wednesday, come back here, catch us live for the Tesla Live at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Oh,
Very
nice
good.
segue.
Very good.
That was nice.
Patrick.
Smooth transition there, Casey. I don't know if I can beat that one. So today's Friday. Coming up on Sunday, I have an article on carswithcords.net where I've had my Model Y for a year and a half now. So and it's had 2 winter seasons. And I wanted to know what the impact of winter driving is. And just to be clear, I put on winter snow tires. And so because you don't want to remount them on rims every year, I got new wheels for that also. And they're nice wheels, but they don't have the aero covers. They're not quite as light as the stock ones from Tesla. So with all those factors, I thought that the winter range reduction was going to be pretty big. But if you want to know what it wasn't as big as I expected. You can check it out on carswithcords.net on Sunday. It'll be there. And as always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. Thanks.
Very good. Thanks so much for being with us. You can also follow us through the week on our X feed at the Tesla Life. Join us there, where I can't promise confetti, but I can promise it on the show. So thanks so much for being here, and we'll catch you next time. And together we'll find out what's happening in the Tesla Life.